There is a mountain in the north that has broken more men than it has ever let stand on its peak. I spent 11 years training climbers who wanted to reach that summit, and before I ever let one of them near the ice, I taught them 10 lessons that had nothing to do with mountains and everything to do with life. It does not matter if you ever climb a single step of rock. It does not matter your age, your background, your money, or where you come from. The mountain does not care, and neither does life. The lessons that get you to the top of one will get you through the other. Every morning at base camp, before the sun broke over the ridge, I required every climber to fold their sleeping bag with precision, corners square, straps fastened, set at the head of the tent exactly where it belonged. It seemed absurd to grown men and women who had come to conquer ice walls and vertical rock. Why should folding a bag matter when the real test was thousands of feet above? But I had watched enough climbers over enough years to know the truth. The one who cannot be bothered to fold a bag correctly will not be bothered to check a carabiner twice, will not be bothered to double knot a line when no one is watching. Discipline in the small, unseen moments is what discipline in the large, witnessed ones is built from. Fold the bag. Accomplish the first small victory of the day, and you will carry that quiet momentum into everything that follows. And on the mornings when the mountain has taken something from you, when the weather turns, when a rope fails, when the summit slips away, you will still return to a tent with a bag folded the way you left it. Order in one small corner of your life, when the rest of it is chaos, is not nothing. It is where you begin again. We trained in rope teams of 4, tied together by a single line, because no one crosses a glacier alone. Crevasses hide beneath snow bridges that look solid and are not. If one climber falls through, the other 3 must arrest the fall together, in the same instant, with the same force, or all 4 go down. I have seen strong climbers insist they didn't need the rope, that they moved faster alone, that the team slowed them down. Every one of them was wrong, and the mountain corrected them harshly. You do not cross the dangerous ground of this life by yourself. You need a rope team. People bound to you by trust, who arrest your fall when you don't see the ice giving way beneath you. Find them before you need them. By the time you're falling, it's too late to tie the knot. Of the 30 who began one particular season with me, only 9 reached high camp. Among them was a team I never expected to succeed. 4 climbers. None of them over 5.5 feet tall. None of them with any background that would suggest they belonged there. One was a former factory worker. One a school teacher. 2 had never seen snow before that winter. The taller, stronger-looking teams mocked their short strides, their careful, unhurried pace. But those 4 moved as one organism. They rested when the plan said rest, and pushed when the plan said push, and by the time the mountain had broken half the field, they were still climbing, steady as a metronome, while stronger bodies gave out around them. The mountain does not measure the size of your stride, it measures the size of your will. Everything else is decoration. Twice a week I inspected gear. Every buckle, every strap, every knot, and no matter how carefully a climber had prepared, I always found something wrong. A helmet strap 1 notch too loose. A crampon 1 screw short of perfect. For the failure, that climber spent the next hour re-securing every piece of equipment they owned in the wind. Cold hands fumbling with buckles, while the rest of the team moved on ahead. Some climbers raged at the unfairness of it. They had done everything right, and it was never enough. Those were the ones who quit first. They never understood that the inspection wasn't about the buckle. It was about teaching them that effort and outcome are not always tied together by a straight line. That you can do everything correctly and still be told it isn't enough. And that the only real failure is letting that unfairness stop your feet. Some days you will do everything right and still be handed the cold wind and the fumbling hands. Take the wind, re-secure the buckle, keep climbing. Every day carried a test, a timed ascent, a rope handling drill, a cold water crossing, and every test had a standard. Miss it, and your name went on the board, and that night you trained for 2 more hours in the dark, long after the others had eaten and slept. No one wanted their name on that board. It meant more exhaustion tomorrow, and more exhaustion meant a higher chance of being on the board again. But something happened to the climbers who found their names there most often. Over the weeks, they became the strongest in camp. The extra hours in the cold and the dark had built something in them that the easy days never could. You will fail, and if you are pushing yourself toward anything worth reaching, you will fail often. It will be exhausting. It will test the deepest part of you. Do not fear the extra hours in the dark. They are where you are made. There was an ice wall on the route, nearly vertical, that had a fixed line running its length. The safe, slow way up, hand over hand, one careful placement at a time. For 3 seasons, no one had beaten the old ascent record on that wall. Then one climber, instead of following the fixed line's careful rhythm, chose an unconventional route straight up an exposed seam of harder ice, moving fast, refusing the safety of the slow method. It was reckless. A fall there meant real injury. But she moved with total commitment, and where the record had stood for years, she broke it that afternoon by nearly half. Sometimes the safe, careful path is not the one that gets you there. Sometimes you have to commit fully to the harder, faster line, and trust the commitment itself to carry you through. High on the mountain, above the tree line, there are crevasse fields where nothing lives and nothing grows. And before every crossing, I told my climbers plainly what could go wrong. The hidden fall lines, the snow bridges that betrayed weight without warning. I never lied to them and told them it was safe. I told them the truth. It was dangerous, and it demanded respect. And if the ice began to shift beneath their feet, the worst thing they could do was panic and run. Stand steady, move deliberately, trust your training. There is real danger in this life, plenty of it, and I will not tell you otherwise. But panic has never once saved a single person from anything. Calm has saved nearly everyone. The final push to the summit is made in the dark, hours before dawn, so that climbers reach the top and descend before the afternoon weather turns violent. In that darkness, headlamps cut a small circle of light and nothing more. You cannot see the summit. You cannot see how far you've come or how far remains. There is only the next 10 feet of visible snow, the sound of your own breathing, and the cold. It is in that exact darkness, not on the sunlit slopes below, not at the celebration afterward, that a climber's entire character is decided. Whether they have real endurance or only ever had it on easy days when endurance was never actually required. If you want to reach anything worth reaching, you must be your steadiest, calmest, most disciplined self in the exact hour when you can see the least and the cold is at its worst. I ran one expedition where a storm pinned 11 of us in a snow cave for 2 full days. No summit push, no movement, only cramped cold and the howling of wind that did not stop. By the second night, spirits had collapsed entirely. Grown climbers, veterans of harder mountains than this one, sat in silence with their heads down, and the instructors among us knew that silence was more dangerous than the storm itself. Silence is where climbers quietly decide to give up on the inside, long before they ever say the words out loud. And then, from somewhere in that cave, one voice began, low and rough, singing something half-remembered from childhood. It was off-key and badly out of tune. A second voice joined it, uncertain at first, then a third, until the entire cave, 11 exhausted, half-frozen people, was singing badly together in the dark. The storm did not weaken, the cold did not lessen, but something in that cave changed, and it held until the wind finally broke on the third morning. One voice, willing to sound foolish in the dark, can turn a room of quiet despair into a room that survives the night. If you are ever buried by circumstance with no way out, do not go silent. Sing badly if that is all you have. It is enough. At every base camp there is a way out that requires nothing of you. A radio call, a helicopter, a warm bed by nightfall. All you have to do to end the climb is make that call. No one thinks less of the ones who use it. The mountain is genuinely dangerous, and there is no shame in choosing safety. But I will tell you what I told every climber standing at that radio, hand hovering. The mountain will still be there. The version of yourself who turned back at the first real difficulty will also still be there, and you will carry that version with you into every other hard thing you attempt for the rest of your life. Whatever your mountain is, don't reach for the radio in the first hour of real difficulty. Reach for it only when you have given everything you actually have, and you will be surprised, nearly every time, at how much more that turns out to be. It will not be easy. Fold the bag every morning. Find your rope team before you fall. Measure people by will, not stature. Accept the unfair inspection and resecure the buckle anyway. Do not fear the extra hours in the dark. They are where you are built. Move with full commitment when the moment calls for it. Stay calm when the ice shifts beneath you. Be your steadiest self in the darkest hour, when you can see the least. Sing when the storm has you buried and the room has gone silent. And whatever mountain stands in front of you, do not reach for the radio too soon. Climb it anyway, and the world on the other side of that summit will be better for it.